Remember before when I was talking about smelly garbage standing around being useless? That was a metaphor. I was actually talking about you. And I'm sorry. You didn't react at the time, so I was worried it sailed right over your head, which would have made this apology seem insane. That's why I had to call you garbage a second time just now.
What's up, guys? It's Mucho, and today I wanted to give a quick recap as to how we got here in the Steam Backlog Challenge. Forever ago, I started this challenge with a backlog that had something like, you can't even see it all here. I think it was like 52 games in this backlog with 0 minutes playtime. You can see here, I've got quite a lot in here still. And you'll notice none of them have the 0, they have a minutes played next to them. And some of them don't have the correct time, like Morrowind, for example, because I was playing a workshop. I was playing like a mod. It didn't actually come up with the correct time. It didn't show that I actually had played it. I was actually playing Skywind mod, which you need both games for. So I've played this quite a lot, and I played it on a lot of platforms. So I had a lot of inaccurate data. The biggest issue was that all these 0-minute games were stuck in uncategorized. I didn't even have, I just purchased them. I didn't even have a plan for them, and they were just sitting in here. And we had something like 52. So the numbers on all of our little categories over here were way off. The Always Tomorrow category was kind of full, but for the purpose of this, I've gone ahead and moved some of the games in our backlog into these. And so we have 4 that got moved over into here. We got some of the older games that I had in here got moved off as well. They got categorized, and it became kind of a decision that we're not going to play any of the games inside of the nostalgia because, they're for purposes, just kind of whenever, right? It's kind of hey, I played this a lot when I was a kid, or I played this growing up, and I would like to own a digital copy of it somehow or another. So it was something that I would acquire. So that's just something that we're not going to touch. It's outside of the challenge. But then there was a lot of stuff. There was some stuff in the skip category before we started the challenge. And as we went along, we actually found a lot of things that we did determine was a skip. It wasn't something we were going to continue to play. We kind of got our value out of it. We got our playtime out of it. And you can see, let's see, actually, with the hours played. There you go. We got over 100 hours in some titles. And then we had, very few unplayed, but we definitely have some in the skip category that we just determined, even without playing them, knowing what we knew about them wasn't something we were going to do. And then we completed a lot too. This was not 58. We did not have 58 in the completed for sure. And there was some stuff, by the way. Deponia, I actually beat this, and I think it was Chaos of, or one of the other Deponia titles. I beat that on Xbox. Castle Crashers, I beat that on Xbox. Morrowind, I beat that on Xbox, so on and so forth. Myst, I actually beat that on Windows 98. We had a lot of little games like that until we got to where we are today, which was 13 games remaining in the backlog challenge. So for the second or third time ever in this challenge, I did have a game that was an insta-skip, and you can see it was here. It was game number 29 in the series, was supposed to be Tank Mechanic Simulator. I played it for 13 minutes and immediately knew I'm good. I couldn't get into it, which is sad. I really like a lot of the other Mechanic Simulator games, had a lot of fun with them on Xbox, and I think I downloaded one to PC via Steam, and I played the heck out of that game. But Tank Mechanic Simulator, for whatever reason, it just didn't feel the same. It just didn't make sense to me. Maybe it's because I'm not a big tank nerd. I don't know, but this did not resonate with me at all. In the first 13 minutes, I had enough to know I wasn't going to do. I didn't even save the footage. I deleted it. So that was going to be game number 29, Tank Mechanic Simulator. Instant skip, 0 around the board. That's my review. That's the backlog update. That's how we got here. There's 13 games left to go. But before we get there, without further ado, this is the current one. Welcome in, and this one is game number 30 in the Steam Backlog Challenge. It's Portal 2, of course, made by Valve or Steam, if you'd like to think of it that way, and it is an industry standard. I think of it in terms of that way. High production value, really great job, really good delivery, very loyal fan base. Portal 1, Portal 2, one of the industry classics, at least in the genre, and I highly regard it. I really enjoyed this. I played all the way through, and I hope that maybe you rediscover this one in your backlog as well.
Good morning. You have been in suspension for 50 days. In compliance with state and federal regulations, all testing candidates in the Aperture Science Extended Relaxation Center must be revived periodically for a mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look up at the ceiling. Good. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at the floor. Good. This completes the gymnastic portion of your mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise. There is a framed painting on the wall. Please go stand in front of it. This is art. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art. You should now feel mentally reinvigorated. If you suspect staring at art has not provided the required intellectual sustenance, reflect briefly on this classical music. Good. Now please return to your bed. Good morning. You have been in suspension for 9999999. This courtesy call is to inform you that
Anyone in
all
there?
subjects should vacate the enrichment
Hello?
center in...
Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you... Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine. There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
Please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Prepare. That's all I'm saying. Prepare. It's all fine. All right? Don't move. I'm going to get us out of here. Oh, you might want to hang on to something. Word of advice. Up to you. You all right down there? Can you hear me? Hello? Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped. But never mind. Say apple. Apple. Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
All reactor core safeguards are now non-functional. Please prepare for reactor core meltdown.
Okay, look, I wasn't going to mention this to you, but I'm in pretty hot water here. How you doing down there? You still holding on? The reserve power ran out. So of course the whole relaxation centre stops waking up the bloody test subjects. Hold on, this is a bit tricky. And of course, nobody tells me anything. No, why should you tell me anything? Why should I be kept informed? You know, about the life functions of the 10,000 bloody test subjects I'm supposed to be in charge of. Why? It's close. Can you see? Am I gonna make it through? Have I got enough space? Just gotta get through here. Okay, I just gotta concentrate. And whose fault do you think it's going to be when the management comes down here and finds 10,000 flipping vegetables? Alright, see, no, I hear that one. I hear that one. Okay, listen, we should get our story straight, alright? If anyone asks, and no one's going to ask, don't worry, but if anyone asks, tell them as far as you know, the last time you checked, everyone looked pretty much alive. Alright? Not dead. Okay. Almost there. On the other side of that wall is one of the old testing tracks. There's a piece of equipment in there that we're going to need to get out of here. I think this is a docking station. Get ready. Good news, that is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override on this wall. Could get a bit technical. Hold on. Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun that makes holes, not bullet holes. But don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time. There we go. Now, I'll be honest, you are probably in no fit state to run this particular type of cognitive gauntlet. Good luck!
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue. These pre-recorded messages will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse. The portal will open and emergency testing will begin in 3, 2, 1. Cube and button-based testing remains an important tool for science, even in a dire emergency. If cube and button-based testing caused this emergency, don't worry. The odds of this happening twice are very slim. Please note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it.
How could you do Portal 2 and not let the entire intro sequence play?
Lie on your back.
This is, of course, Steam's own dog food, right? This is Valve, Steam, produced by them, of course. This is a classic. Portal and Portal 2 are foundational to video games, in my opinion. And of course, the production value on this game is top-notch. The audio, of course, is no exception. I'm going to, of course, score this high. 5 out of 5. Perfect execution. It's a masterpiece.
If you are a non-employee who has discovered this facility amid the ruins of civilization, welcome. And remember, testing is the future, and the future starts with you.
The puzzles in Portal 2 are pretty good. Obviously, it starts off pretty simplistic, and then you advance as you go on. And even sometimes when you get to later puzzles, some of the later puzzles are fairly simplistic compared to ones that came before it, but the progression is there. You're learning the mechanics of the game as you go. You get introduced to new systems pretty regularly, and you're not constantly confused as to what you should be doing. In addition, Valve did an amazing job as also driving a story. Why am I going through this maze? Am I just solving puzzles to solve puzzles? Do I just love solving puzzles and that's why I'm doing it? No, you're doing it to get the hell out of here. And you have a protagonist and antagonist that you get introduced to, and then you're trying to figure out what your place is in all of this. You're kind of in a post-apocalyptic scenario, and you're trying to make your way through this, and the only way to survive is to solve puzzles. So they did a really great job of not only focusing on just the pure objective, but to give you a story to entertain as well. And the lore that comes with is pretty fun. And, you know, there's deeper fan base on this. You know, people look into sort of fan stories around this universe, which is great. When you do such a good job with the story that people can make their own concept stories around it, you know you've done a pretty darn good job. So, hey, hats off to Valve again. It's a classic. It's a masterpiece. 5 out of 5 on the objective and the story. This game is a thrill ride, and as the graffiti suggests, and sometimes the puzzles can have too many variables. And at times that can be a little frustrating, which detracts from the overall enjoyment of the game. But if you're kind of a try-hard when it comes to puzzle games a little bit like me, you get stubborn and you don't want to give up. So you find yourself playing till, 12:30 at night, and you're beating your head over the wall because you can't solve the one laser puzzle or whatever it was. But the smartest thing to do in those cases is to just slow down, reboot, try again, come back, and then with a fresh mind, solve this puzzle that way. So it's a thrill ride. When you really think of it, just from the start, it's like going through one of those 4D rides at a theme park or something. They really took that into consideration, that they wanted to bring you, who are only going to be in this first-person perspective, through this thrill ride, this whole experience. And I really feel that about this game, and I really like the progression and how the environments change and how there's a challenge to overcome just about every corner you look. And there's all kinds of little secrets you might find, like I found that little radio. There's a bunch of them scattered out through the game. You don't find them. There's also a second ending where you go a different direction, and there's just some of that stuff that just sits in the back of your head too. But at times, it was a little frustrating, and I really wanted to detract points from the game, but ultimately it pulled me through. The fact that it held my attention for as long as it did and made me commit and come back and finish it. I put so many hours into this playthrough. It's really a testament to how good this game is. So again, hats off. Steam, you nailed it with this one. Of course, Portal 2 is a classic. 5 out of 5.
They truly didn't think you'd fall for that. In fact, I devised a much more elaborate trap further ahead for when you got through this easy one. If I'd known you let yourself get captured this easily, I would have just dangled a turkey leg on a rope from the ceiling. Well, it was nice catching up. Let's get to business. I hope you brought something stronger than a portal gun this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid you're about to become the immediate past president of the Being Alive Club. Seriously, though. Goodbye.
Man, Portal is and Portal 2, of course, is a really fun title. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a pretty intense playthrough. Like I said, I put a lot of hours into this one. And when you know what you know, the puzzles do go faster, right? Not knowing is what takes the longest. It's having to learn each puzzle and work through the mechanics of each puzzle to solve the puzzle. And once you know the mechanics already, it's just a matter of dealing with loading screens to then overcome the puzzle quicker, right? You can solve it faster since you know kind of the muscle memory of how to get there. So could you replay it? Could you do speed runs? There's a whole system built into the game for speed running to see in the community who can solve the puzzle the quickest. That's a real life thing that's built into the game. It's not a separate system, and I thought that was pretty cool. But for me, once is enough. And there's extras to go back and get. There's achievements to go back and get. But for me, the authentic experience of doing it the first time or the second time, that's enough for me. So I might, it's good enough that I could see myself in the future coming back to it. But I'd say in the immediate future, maybe no. So because of that and the way that I score these things, for this challenge, I will give it a 3 out of 5.
It is true that you don't have the qualifications, but you've got something far more important than that. A finger, all right, with which to press that button so that she won't kill us.
Impersonating a stalemate associate. I just added that to the list.
On with the ceremony. We will go ahead and uninstall this. And I'm going to do 2 things. I really loved this game, so I'm going to put it in our favorites, but I'm also going to move it to... We're going to move it to completed, because we completed it. You can see here from the value card, we spent 8.2 hours in this title, purchased it for $2.15, which means that we got a 26 cents per hour value score, which is absolutely fantastic. The target is 1, so we're doing great. If you were to go and buy Portal 2 today, you would get it for $10 retail, and yeah, I think $10 for this game is totally worth it. You can do a huge bundle deal right now. I would wait for the next big sale, but Valve will give you the complete pack. That's Counter-Strike and Half-Life and Half-Life 2 not Half-Life 2, Half-Life Source. I forget. It's not 2, it's Source. A big bundle here for $105. That's a pretty good value too. This is a Valve game, so if you know Steam is created by Valve originally as a portal to sell their games or to launch their games, and then ultimately they became a big storefront. So this is like going to Costco and getting the Kirkland brand thing, or Walmart and getting the Great Value brand thing. This is their dog food, and they are happy to sell this to you all the time. If you put it in your wish list, you will be able to get this for under MSRP. But again, I would absolutely pay the $10. So great value, can't recommend it enough. So that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for tagging along. Much appreciated, and this is me, Mucho, signing out.